Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kathryn, and I own a small business called CA Originals by Kathryn, where I make things out of all sorts of vintage fabric. Where do I find the vintage fabric? I sometimes go to my magic thrift store, which I will never tell you where it is, but trust me, it's magic. So last week I went and I found all these bags of lovely stuff. 5 bags. And I deliberately left it in the car until we were ready. I thought it might be a great idea to make a film of me opening the bags and talking about what it is and what's inside. So I'd love to tell you about it. You ready? Let's go. The first one go. So it's a little windy today. We wanted to do this outside and the umbrella just tipped over, so we're back. Okay, opening the first bag. It's all lovely cotton textiles is what I'm seeing so far. Does anybody remember the word seersucker? It's a name for puckery cotton that was popular from the 20s up through now. Here's the first piece. It's about 2 yards of a fairly new seersucker, but it is 100% cotton. I can tell by just touching it. And it's going to be great for some little jumper dresses I do for little girls, or I do half aprons for women, or I'm going to design a new sundress for this spring. So it could be any of those three things, I'll bet. Okay, there's the first piece. Here's a wonderful piece. I can tell it's quite vintage because it's only 36 inches or less wide. Yes. Here's how I tell. This is only about 34 inches wide. Even less maybe. And it's cotton, polished cotton. Absolutely beautiful with a little snail pattern. I often make things where I'm mixing prints together, and this will be a lovely background piece for either a child's garment or a little dress or almost anything. So there's about, looks like 2 pieces of about 1.5 yards each. Okay, now it's getting windy. Here is an absolutely wonderful piece of cotton. I'm not showing you the price tags on these because you will probably want to scour the whole Southern California countryside to find this thrift store if you knew how reasonably some of these pieces are. This is probably something from the 70s or the 80s. It's 48 inches wide, I can tell, 2 yards. It's musical notes that are, looks like religious songs, Amazing Grace. I can't read any other. Children in His Arms. Probably some hymns or something like that, but it's beautiful black and white with little flowers. Do you want to see if you could get a close-up of it?
I did.
You did already? Okay, great. Here's a white piece, just lining, but you have to remember to have all these extra pieces when you're making something. You can't just have prints or solids, you need stuff to line it with. Here's another piece of cotton that's a good background piece. Looks like about 5 yards. Fabric Traditions, 1991. Current fabrics often have a date printed on it, but older things don't. And the best way to tell is how wide it is. So that's probably from, what did I say? It says 1991, yeah. This is a little throw that I got. I have a friend who makes ponchos and shawls, wrap shawls out of all kinds of things like this. So I got this for her. Okay, bag number 1. Let's go to number 2. I'm going to take this one because I see more cotton Oh, actually, this one is linen. It is absolutely beautiful. Giant piece of cotton linen, or cotton and linen blended, perhaps. I'm not sure. It's not terribly stiff. Oh, oops, you didn't see the price tag on that. It looks like it was a giant tablecloth. It's actually twice this size, so it's a floral tablecloth, gray on a white background with red roses. And it's clean. I don't see any stains. I do some lovely dresses, and I do linen shirts where I combine lots of different colors. Shall we keep going? It's starting to get windy. We may have to stop. This is the find of the day I remember now. It's an actual vintage tablecloth from the 1950s. This is the quarter size of it. It's gigantic. And I've actually had this one before. A lot of the old tablecloths I've been working with for years, and you see the prints over and over again. This is something that you probably would have bought at JCPenney's or Sears Roebuck for maybe $2.99 or something like that. And when I see them nowadays, which is very, very rarely, especially in good condition, there's no stains on this that I see at all. You just don't see them anymore. So this is a treasure. Okay, the next piece. Next is another more present time tablecloth, but I do aprons where I have this be my background piece, and I cut a piece for the top part, which is a vintage tablecloth design or some old lace or a piece of patchwork or something like that. So it's 100% cotton, so it is in. Okay, the next piece is an Indian tapestry tablecloth. It's not very big, but I love to work with things with a border print. It's wonderful cotton. It doesn't look, once again, I don't see any stains, which is unusual. Maybe I'll do a video sometime about how I get the stains out of old fabric, because it's not as hard as you might imagine. Anyway, it's a pretty nice big tablecloth. Sometimes I do skirts, or I do a simple shift dress, or I might just take this border print and put it on something else, because I love to add a border print to various things that I make. Here is another piece of background or lining. It's just a big piece of cotton. And you will get, if you're a fabric aficionado, you will be able to tell the difference between cotton and polyester. And one of the secrets is that polyester kind of gets sticky when you rub it with your thumb and finger. Cotton stays cool. So I know this is cotton and it'll wash up beautifully. Okay, bag number 3. Oh, it looks like there was 6 bags. I think I said there were 5. Yay! Here is a beautiful piece of cotton print. It's probably going to have something written along the edge, which would tell me where it came from. Yes. Concord Fabrics, designed by the Kesslers. No date, but made in USA. It looks like about 8 yards. It's not terribly wide, so looks like 48 inches wide. I'm going to say 1960s, and it's a stripy pattern in art of little cups and saucers and plates, and it's in lovely blue and yellow. There's lots and lots of things that I could make out of this, and I will. Okay, here's a piece of flannel. I always collect cotton flannel. This one says Joann's, which I never would go in there and buy anything, but I'll buy it at the thrift store. So it's 2 one-yard pieces of cotton flannel in a moon and stars. I do little jackets for children and adults. out of chenille, antique chenille, which unfortunately I didn't find a piece at the thrift store this time, but I often do. And sometimes I'll use this for the lining. And I also do shirts like the one I'm wearing. This is a patchwork big shirt style out of different pieces of flannel. And they're all 100% cotton. It kind of doesn't matter if it's old or new, as long as it's 100% cotton. And you wash it first because it does shrink. So I might use it for something like that. Here is another piece that I got from my friend Linda. And she's holding up the tent right now, so see? Isn't this pretty?
It's pretty.
It's going to be a shawl. It says made in Turkey, 100% cotton. And I can tell that it's never been washed, so it'll be absolutely beautiful. Summer throw once it's washed. Okay. Here are, at the bottom of this bag, 2 men's shirts. This is chambray, which is one of my favorite, actually linen chambray. I could give a lecture on chambray and how wonderful it is. It means 2 colors of thread woven together, crisscross, and you just come up with these wonderful shady colors and with just a lot of texture, or looking like texture even if it is smooth. It's just beautiful stuff to play with. I do a design in my line called Shirt Tails, where I take men's shirts and turn them into women's shirts. Maybe on my next video, if I do another one, I will show you what they look like. So here's just another shirt in a smaller size, just a men's cotton shirt. And I love it when they have a contrasting cuff, because I use that part, and it's nice if there's another color to mix in with it. I'll tell you about those another time. Okay, bag number 4. Oh, this is a treasure. This is
Flip it over.
silk organza, hand embroidered. It's a 2-yard piece. It was never used. It looks like it might have come from Switzerland or Germany or something like that. Probably someone brought it home from a European vacation and put it in their pile, and it never got used, and now it comes down to me. I love to make shirts or put this in with something else. It looks like it might have just been a dress that could be made, where you just cut out the dress. They often used to sell pieces of fabric that you buy just to make a specific style of dress, a simple shift out of it. And it washes beautifully. It has a bit of yellowing, but I think I can get it out. And it's nice and crisp, and I love it. Okay, next, here's another piece of flannel. This is pretty new, but look at this great color. As long as we're having some cold weather, I do make these big shirts with flannel, and this would look great with jeans, just as a shirt. There's about 6 yards there. Here's a piece with little kittens on it for children's pieces that I do for linings when I'm using the old antique chenille bedspreads to make little jackets. If you go to my website, which I'll tell you about at the end, you'll see pictures of those. Here's a piece of linen. Just a solid gray, but it'll wash beautifully. If I want to fade it, I can put it in with a little bit of bleach and then line dry it. It might go a little paler shade, because a lot of the textiles that I use are pastel colors, and mixing a dark, it's nice if you can tone it down a little bit. But it's a good high quality piece of linen. Maybe I will tell you the price I paid for this so you can get a comparison. Linen like this would be $20 to $25 a yard, anywhere that you might find it. This whole piece was $5. Okay, there's just one more. But I see some wonderful things here. Here is a linen damask tablecloth. One of my favorite things to get. People often receive these as wedding gifts or anniversary gifts or something, or who knows where. And they never use them. They'd put them in their cupboard and save them for the good company to come, and then they wouldn't ever use them at all. Very often you get some that have never even been washed. This one has been washed, and I see there's a little mark here, but I can get that out. I love doing these. It's like, it has one of those old dry cleaning tags, like they probably had a laundry service, whoever owned it, and had it sent out. Linen dyes beautifully. I use it for all kinds of items, everything from men's shirts to skirts to the big shirts that I make that are shaped like this, only made of linen, and a lovely dress that I do with a patchwork of vintage linen. So that was a great big square for a pretty good sized table. And here is another tablecloth. This one is silk with hand embroidery. It probably came from Japan or China, and it's quite vintage. This looks 20s, 30s to me, and this is one of those things I was telling you about, that they never used it, or maybe just for good company or on Christmas or something. It has a big design of, it looks like pagodas. Wow, it is really getting windy. There's a central design. Oh, it looks like chickens on the rooftop of a pagoda. And then there's this cutwork design all around the border with flowers. This will make a couple of different things. I might do a dress, a simple shift dress with long sleeves, or maybe some tops that are more like a tunic top with a scoop neck. You want to, when you have amazing intricate fabric like this, you want to have a really simple style so that it doesn't take away from the beautiful fabric that you're trying to display. Okay, we're down to the very last thing. Oh, two more things. I see that they're both tablecloths. This is another linen tablecloth. This is half of it here. It's beautiful white linen with hand embroidery. Can you focus in on that?
Good.
This is absolutely beautiful. It could be, and I'll use it for any number of things. I probably would make a beautiful blouse where this is the focus on the top, and then there's maybe another color or something like that on the bottom, or the sleeves if I do sleeves. Of course, I'll wash it first. And here is another, this is linen organza. That last piece way at the bottom of this pile here was silk organza, but this is linen, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's oriental in nature. It probably came from Japan. And it's got cutwork design. It's a lovely big square, and once again, probably sat in a linen closet for nearly its entire life. And it doesn't look like it's ever been used. I'm even wondering if it's even been washed. And this will make, I'll have to think about it for a while. I'm not sure what I would make out of it. Maybe you get some kind of a top where you're kind of using the whole thing. And that's it. That was my wonderful pile of delicious vintage textiles that I found at my thrift store that I won't tell you about. If you want to see the things that I make,
Like, subscribe, and comment.
what?
Like, subscribe, and comment.
Oh, if we do get on YouTube, push like, subscribe, and comments. I'd love to hear your comments. You can find me, I have a website, Kath Sews at, no, CA Originals, that's my email, sorry, scratch that. CA Originals by Kathryn.com.